Hi, and welcome to Come LARP with Me, our makeshift LARP series, our LARP podcast that comes with this event that Tracie and I are both attending called Darkness Emergent, which is in Las Vegas, November 7th to the 10th. And if you want to know more about that website, you can go to darknessemergent.com. But let me introduce Tracie, also known as Miss Magitek. She is a cosplayer and storyteller who runs a TTRPG channel on YouTube, I believe,
YouTube and Twitch, yes.
and Twitch. And she makes content about Cyberpunk Red, Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire the Masquerade, and The Witcher. So I want to say welcome, Tracie.
Yay! Thank you for having me. I am excited to talk all things LARP and VTM.
Yes, so let's start off with your character. Please tell us about who this Miss Eden is.
Yes, so I am playing Eden Delaney. She is a ministry. She's clan ministry, which I've never played a ministry character before, and I am excited because I feel like Vegas is like a great place to play a ministry character because it's the city of excess and I think just ministry kind of play into that quite a lot if you want to play a character like that. So I think it's a great place to play a ministry. I will say a little more about her. So she actually is going to be working with Cynthia Marie's NPC character, who is also a ministry. And I know you just talked to her about her character. I won't spoil too much, but basically, I'm going to be working for her character. So she kind of has a den of snakes where there'll be a couple of ministry who will be working for her. So I'm one of those. So I'm excited to take on that role. I think it's going to be really fun at the LARP itself to have like some, role in some of the plot that's going on, especially with Cynthia Marie's character. And I think, yeah, that's going to be really fun.
That's interesting too, because I have a parallel character to yours because I am playing Dr. Vermundo de Sancha, and I'm
Yes.
working for Alex Ward's character.
Ooh.
Yes, Yaromir, I believe it's Yaromir Turney.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting to see like how we will work together or if we will compete a little bit. So that will be kind of fun.
Very interesting. I like that. Yeah, I like having a role that is a bit more like we're more like helping. It's not like a major role. So because I did an NPC role at Darkness Emergent in Chicago, and it was work. It was a lot of work. It was fun work. Yeah, but this I think is probably we'll probably still be working quite a bit for helping them out. But it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it'll be a bit more chill, and we can it'll be fun regardless. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this type of role.
So you've never played Ministry before. So what kind of approach are you going to take role play wise to convey that kind of character, especially since Ministry is all about vices and corruption and all sorts of fun stuff that's very Vegas.
Yes, yes. So I definitely am playing into that archetype, I think, for ministry. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, when it comes to like clan tropes, I like to play into the tropes quite a bit. And I think that's one of the fun parts about picking a clan. And they have certain stereotypes about them, and I do like to play into those. So yes, for my ministry character for Eden, she is well. I think her thing is she did have a lot of vice and excess in her life with like partying, and she came from like a very like she was like a party girl in her previous life, and then into her unlife she continued to be a party girl. And so I think she's trying to be a she's going to try to portray that she's a bit on the straight and narrow, where it's like, look, I want to show that clan ministry doesn't always have to be about partying and excess, but like we can be good. She's trying to portray maybe a bit of like the good girl, but like it's like no, I think deep down, like her at her core, she is a party girl, and if you get kind of closer to her, you might see that and experience that, and she'll want you to do all sorts of wild things. So yeah, that's how I'm approaching the character and the clan as a whole.
Oh, that's going to be fun because I love that little bit of internal conflict of I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to
Yep.
be good, but there's also all of this. It's very has-been hotel. It's
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
so I also know that you just came out with your look for Eden, which I know might evolve until we get to Darkness Emergent. So how did you come up with that particular look?
Yeah. So when I make a character, I kind of go a little like excessive in some ways because I really am a visual person when it comes to making a character. So I approach it like my start is I knew I wanted to play a ministry. I'm a storyteller for a chronicle, and I played a ministry NPC, and I loved playing that ministry NPC. And I was like, she was really fun. So that was the initial idea. Like that kind of planted the seed in my head. And I was like, okay, I want to play something related to this concept. And then I start visualizing. I will go on Pinterest and make mood boards and things for the character. I'll find a certain look that I like, and start getting that. And for me, this again, like you don't have to do this, but for me, I also like to get like my own original art done for my character because that also helps me visualize the character more. Because when I see certain characters on Pinterest, I'm like, this is cool, but I don't want to like get that character, that visual in my, like, I want to make it my own.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so I will reach out to an artist and be like, hey, can I commission you to do art? So that's what I did for Eden. I commissioned Neon Jess. She's awesome. She does a lot of vampire art, VTM art, and I knew her vibe would fit the vibe I was looking for. So she made the character for me, and I sent her like a mood board, and I even was like, hey, I'm going to cosplay this character. Here's the wig I ordered. Can you have the color match the wig? That kind of thing. So that helped me create the character. And so that was like, okay, now I can kind of cosplay this art that I have already made of the character and use that as my reference for the LARP. So that's kind of how it all went down.
Yeah. So as a cosplayer, it sounds like when you make characters, whether Eden or another character, are you um visual? It sounds like you're visual first before you are story, or do they work
Yes.
in tandem, like you find that one pings off of the other as you develop details?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they do eventually start coming into, but like, yeah, I haven't fully built out like her backstory. So I am more of a visual person first. And then once I get the visual idea in my head, then I can start building out some things like, okay, maybe she had this in her backstory, or like, I haven't even fully decided like who her sire is. That's how it really was what I am. I am very much, yeah, a visual person. And then I start fleshing out the details of her backstory and everything like that. So that's what I haven't fully built her character yet for the LARP. Like I haven't built the character sheet. So I have to start doing that and writing out and crafting that part. So yeah, it's like I go heavy on the visual. I even have like a playlist for the character and like what I want her like vibes to be for that. And now I'm like, okay, now I'll start writing the backstory and stuff. So yeah, I think that's how it goes for me.
Now I
Yeah.
want to know what's on that playlist.
Yes, it's very much hard. Like I have like Lacuna Coil, which is like again like kind of
Yes.
like early
Yeah.
90s, like and they were in like the Bloodlines video game, like their music was in Bloodlines. I was like, okay, this is perfect, like vampire vibes. Yeah, I think like Queen of the Damned kind of soundtrack. That's also the vibes that I'm going for. So yeah.
So almost like a 90s party girl, which is,
Yes.
90s is very excessive. I think
Yep.
about like Cher from Clueless, just over the top, just decadent. And okay, so let's put you on the spot and let's just pretend for a little bit. So you didn't develop the backstory yet, but how would you have imagined someone would have embraced Eden? And would Eden even have been her name, or is this the vampire persona that you're going to portray?
I think she had another name, and this is her persona, definitely. Yeah, like I always think, like again with snakes and like the Garden of Eden and all of that. So that is like a name that she came up with after her embrace. But I think she would have probably been embraced within her own culture or like the party scene, definitely, without a doubt. Like I think some of the part of the ministry can be considered, I don't want to say like cult like, but there is like, even in the VTM book, Cult of the Blood Gods, there's stuff that is
Yeah,
dedicated
absolutely.
to like what parts. I think she might have got a little bit into like the followers of Set stuff. And so they probably like found her and kind of indoctrinated her into this a bit, but she's totally into it. So I think that there was like some intent with embracing her and wanting her to be part of the followers of Set and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Nice. And have you figured out yet what your dynamic is going to be with Cynthia Marie's character, Elizabeth Demetrios?
Yeah, not yet, but I think I have a feeling Elizabeth is going to be a bit more reserved in her demeanor, and I think Eden's going to be a bit more wild. So I think if not that she's going to have to like keep me on a leash, but like I think if Elizabeth needs something, if I think I'm gonna be like the socialite of the group. I mean, I think we all will be because she has to, do a lot of socializing as well. But I am kind of excited to see because there's another couple of characters who are also going to be part of like her little den of snakes. So I'm very curious to see what their personality types are like compared to mine. It might be, I might be the one who's like 100 and everybody else is kind of like at a lower level. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, for a big LARP like this, sometimes playing the character that is 100 is probably the best way to reach out to people and like I don't know how many people are going to be at this event. I mean, it's not going to be 30, right?
Yeah.
So, so when you're portraying a character for an event this large, do you modify your role play to access more people, or are you going to be a little bit more of a go-between for example, between you and Sin, who I know people are going to want to access?
Yeah, I think it might be good to do that kind of go between. I actually, yeah, sometimes I think I probably for this character will modify and take it up quite a few notches. It's really interesting when I I can be very socially awkward, honestly, at events. Like when I go to like a normal party, I'm not the most, even though I have a lot of charisma, like on camera and stuff, that doesn't always translate to like being in social interactions. And sometimes I'm very reserved. But at the last LARP, man, when I was in the element, like I was just in it, and I had no hesitation, just role playing my character and just being there and just doing and like approaching people where normally I'd be like, I'm like, I don't want to talk to people, but like I just felt like in my element. It was such a cool, like weird thing for somebody who has a lot of social anxiety. So I think like I'm confident I'm going to bring that to this next one too, where it's just I'm going to be there, I'm going to be in my element. I won't be afraid to just approach people if I need to talk to them. So that is like, yeah, something I'm really looking forward to for this.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up being the same way because being the go-between, for example, between Alexander's character and the people, like I realized that there is gonna be a lot of people that are gonna approach my character, want to be able to talk to him. And also our personalities are very different. Like I know in the character brief for Yaromir, it says that he's very Willy Wonka, and I'm like, whoa, my character is very not.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a medical professor who left the Sabbat because he wants more education. He wants to fund. One of his goals is to start a university among the kindred, and it's kind of
Wow.
like so you can have people who are more different than the both of us, except that we're both Samizi. And so
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting to see how that role plays out. And also, do you find that with your character, if you have a function for your character to do in a game like this, that it's much easier to find those hooks to role play than it is to just come in blind and just start socializing?
Yes, 100%. And I will say that's one of the great things about Darkness Emergent is they give you a lot of plots and a lot of quests. So you won't be like going in there like, what am I doing? Like like, first of all, everybody gets a faction that they have to pick, and that faction will have their own quest that they want to take care of, their own goals during the LARP nights. And so that at least gives you like a purpose, and you get to meet your fellow faction mates beforehand. And like, it's like, okay, this is our goal. So that's like one thing. But on top of that, there's also like a bunch of these like side quests. There's a main quest. There's several NPC quests that get introduced. And if you find something that you kind of are interested in, then you might be like, hey, I'm going to actually follow this quest line. And that gives you purpose to talk to certain people or approach them. And that to me is really, really helpful. I'll say at Chicago, my character was playing an NPC role. I was playing the La Sombra, who was vying for a Primogen seat on the Chicago Camarilla. And so my character was just, I call myself the mayor. I was basically like just trying to get people to vote for me at the end. And so I could get the La Sombra Primogen seat. So that gave me a lot of purpose at that event, because like I was just talking to people all night and trying to get them to agree to vote for me. So that, yeah, it definitely gives you a purpose. So like regardless of whatever quest you find interesting in Vegas, I think for anybody, like you'll find something and that'll give you reason to want to like talk to people and approach people.
And that's a good point. Like, it's interesting that going into Darkness Emergent, when you go to the website, there's so many different hooks. So you could actually find something to role play into, because it can be intimidating if you're just developing a character and you're not sure what you're gonna do. But with these hooks, it allows you to figure out, okay, based on this hook, I could develop a character that can engage with this plot or this particular character, and that I find is important and amazing. Otherwise, I could see why people might feel a little bit shy. I also can be a little anxious socially if I don't know what my function is. So having groups of people that I know that, okay, I automatically know that I can role play with this faction or role play with this clan, but being an Anarch game, the faction is almost more important than clan in this one.
Yes, I would agree. I'm very curious to see how it goes on the Anarch side, because for me personally, I've mostly run Camarilla games, and like the last LARP I went to was a Camarilla city. So I'm like, oh, I wonder how it's gonna, like, what the vibes are gonna be for an Anarch game as opposed to a Camarilla one. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm definitely more familiar with Camarilla than Anarch. I've played a few Anarch games, but I just am more comfortable with Camarilla politics. So, and Camarilla politics are just definitely more in clan. Anarch is definitely more about faction and, to a lot of extent, personality. So it's almost like strong personalities are going to get their way. But I also don't want to encourage people who are watching that you don't need to be a strong personality in order for you to affect change. Like, I think like even characters that might approach our characters and might want to just converse a little bit and even maybe gossip a little bit. Oh God, I think gossip is going to go a long way in this LARP. So much like is going to get done with gossip. That I'm looking forward to it, like even more so than in a Camarilla game.
Yes, I agree. And there was definitely like gossip and things at the last LARP too. So like, and that's like what does make VTM games spicy, you know, the little bit of drama in there, you know, and it's all like obviously role play stuff, but it's very fun. And I had that too, where there were like there was a lot of La Sombra in Chicago, a lot of people who picked Clan La Sombra. And so they came up to me and they were like, look, I don't really like, I identify with like, I want to help my clan. And so I'm more of like a quiet person, but I'm just going to like do a couple of things to try to help you. And that was it. It's like, that's cool. Like, you know, they don't have to like make a big splash or like do something dramatic at the event. They just do a couple of like interactions behind the scene deals and like get some stuff, and they help one of the plots. So yes, it's true. You don't have to like jump in there and like try to like command a crowd or something, but doing a couple of small things really does help certain plot lines.
So I also want to transition to like our last question, because we're running out of time, but this went by fast.
I know, right?
Is that there might be people who approach you but might not be sure how to approach you. They might be intimidated by you, whether it's because of what you're wearing or they might know you by reputation. What's a good way for people to signal that they want to role play with you without feeling that awkwardness that comes with the first social interaction?
Yeah, so that is hard, and I know like I, I feel that sometimes where it's like I too like have that where I'm like I want to interact with some people but I don't want to like bother them like oh hey the sheriff of Chicago I was like I don't want to interact but like I think it's it to me like an easy way if you just do it in character just come up and say like make a comment about what you've how does your character feel about clan ministry and just go
Oh,
ahead and
yeah.
just make that your conversation so like oh so a ministry what is blah 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 and feel free if you want to like make a couple of jabs or something fun like that I think that's fun and keeps it in character people did that with La Sombra when I played a La Sombra. So like feel free to do that. I also do a thing where I very much like iconography. So like I will have like a snake tattoo on my hand and like I might get like the clan like do a little temporary tattoo of the clan on my hand so people know like I'm ministry. This is who I'm repping. So that's always like to me a good conversation starter is just how does your character feel about the ministry? Or do you have questions about the ministry? Just go ahead and approach, Eden and ask her some questions or, tell her what you think. And I think that's to me a good icebreaker in LARP and if you want to talk to people. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's also great advice for someone if they want to spur conversation. And Cynthia Marie also alluded to this. Wear a conversation piece.
Yes.
You will definitely see people at Darkness Emergent dressed to the nines, but at the same time, you don't have to buy things that are expensive uh as going with what your character would just wear based on your imagination. And you could also have just a few key pieces. With Vampire, a pin. A pin is often
Mm-hmm.
enough to start a conversation. But I also love your
Yep.
approach of just asking, how do you feel about this? But also, if you listen, you could hear a little bit of rumor, and then you could approach someone and say, hey, I heard
Yes.
about this. How do you feel about that? And it's such an easy non-starter because if you're worried about voicing your own opinion, you can definitely just steal someone's opinion and bring it to someone else and then gauge your own information in order for you to affect change. So there are so many
Yeah.
ways to engage with people. Worst case scenario is that I'm totally okay if someone out of character says, hi, I'm sorry, I want to role play with you. And I'm like, cool, we will figure it out.
That
So,
too. That is straight up a great way to do it. Just like, hey, want to
yeah.
play cool and just ask first. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've definitely done that awkward thing of a person and I will look at each other and we will stare for a few seconds. I'm like, oh no, a few seconds went by. I need to say something and I don't know what to say. And because this is a LARP and we're there for enjoyment and we're also vampires, damn it. Like we want to be
Yep.
able to engage with people, like rather than that awkward stare, because I know that when I look at you, that means that I know you want to role play with me. Honestly, we will
Yep.
figure it out. And because I want you to have
Yep.
a good time, you know,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah. Totally agree. And it will be fun. Like I know every person I talked to at the last one, they just like talk about how much fun it was. And I'm really looking forward to the next one. I think it's just, Vegas is going to be so much fun. It's like a great setting.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm so excited.
Yes, and you're right. It's Vegas. Like anything
Mm-hmm.
can happen, and based on the plot, anything will happen.
Right?
So
I
that's why I'm
know.
like, I kind of want to be there for the drama.
Right? I know. I know. It's going to be spicy.
It'll be very spicy. So Tracie, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me most places at Miss Magitek, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter X is where I usually post most of my stuff, but also where I run my games, it's Magi RPG. So twitch.tv/MagiRPG or youtube.com/Magi RPG is where you can find all of the games that I run, including my VTM and other World of Darkness, Werewolf and Hunter Chronicles. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Come LARP with me. I never know of a good way to end this, so I always end Come LARP with me. Come LARP with me. I will see you next time. Or at Darkness Emergent.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.